Peace. Peace, 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 peace. I was trying to wrap up for the night, finish up some things, and prepare for the week ahead. I've uploaded some videos and I scheduled them, so they're going to drop 11:15 Monday or Tuesday and 11:15 Wednesday, 2 different videos. But I got another question, and this is like the second question on this topic, so I thought I'd revisit it. Authentication of the birth certificate. This particular video might go viral for what I'm about to show you. But the question that Brother Pierre asked is, quote, Brother Bud, take us back to the paramount importance on the authentication process and placing on the record age of majority, because that is one of the most important steps that we must make in order to remove ourselves from the Hague Convention of 1961 dealing with the ens legis colorable birth certificate. There's some truth in that question, in that statement. But I'll say truth is relative to your position, relative to your status, and relative to your level of understanding. So, and when I say relative, I want to be clear. I use this all the time, and I'm going to continue using it until I can't use it anymore. If you and I are standing face to face, and we're looking down, and I write 96 on the floor, what I see is 96. What you see is 69. We both can be right, because your perception is, I see a 69, or I see a 96, you see a 69, okay? So truth is relative according to your perspective, according to your level of intellect, or your level of education, your level of knowledge. Authentication of the birth certificate, which I do not believe I have an authentication out here with me to show you, but you can pull up my video, which I'll leave up here, which might pop up over here. You know, I can't remember how. Anyway, once an authentication of a birth certificate is done, what you are basically doing is you're getting an exact replica, an official copy, a certified copy of that original that is on file. If you look at your birth certificate, well, older birth certificates, or if you request a copy from the Bureau of Vital Statistics, or whatever department in your state or your town that handles your county, you're going to see, if you really look at it, it's going to be a picture of your document copied onto some type of certificate paperwork, some type of certificate page. So that is just their version of a copy, or their version of a certification that they give to you. When you go to the highest authority in your state and authenticate your birth certificate, do the process of going through the county and yada yada and moving on up, that replica is a very important document. I can say with surety that maybe anywhere from 80, 85, maybe 90% of the US citizens, the American citizens, walk around with a copy of their birth certificate. It could be a quote unquote certified copy because they got it from the Department of Vital Records and Statistics, but it's not an authenticated copy. So it's a very little amount of us that actually do that. Why is that of importance? It's important because the United States Corporation, the United States, is using the American people as collateral, meaning they more or less have a lien, or they have documentation to prove that they have 4 or 5 million strong working live individuals. That is an asset for them. When you authenticate your birth certificate, you are now taking ownership. That's like removing one of the cars. If, let's say, they own all the cars, you're removing one of those vehicles from their possession. By just virtue of the fact of you just authenticating it alone does not solidify that process. You then have to do certain other steps with that birth certificate to remove yourself. It doesn't involve expatriation, etc. This could be a hour-long seminar to actually go through it. So I'm just going to keep it light, keep it simple. It is of very importance. It is of utmost importance that as many people as possible authenticate your birth certificate. What can you do with an authenticated birth certificate? You can prove who you are and not who they assume you are. There may be a lot of people that listen to this, that or hear this, that are still amateur or babies in the process. There are others that are a little more educated in the process. Depending on who you listen to, depending on who you follow, depending on what you read or you allow into your psyche, there are people and there are individuals that have their own agendas, and they're going to take you on this route or take you on this route for whatever reasons. That is not my goal. That's not my intent. I'm not looking for any followers. I'm not looking for a group of people that I'm the savior over. I'm just giving out some information that is of utmost importance for those that have an ear to see and an eye to hear. Huh? Authentication of the birth certificate also brings you to the age of majority. What is the age of majority? If you look it up in the legal dictionary, let's see if age of majority actually comes up. Or let's look up majority. On my website, BROWNSVILLE.com, actually, I'm going to put the link up here to take you to my original website. I changed the website up, but in the original website, it took you to links of definitions that everyone must know. So I'm going to try to find majority in here and try to give you an understanding from the definition. Majority, major majority. From the Black's Law, 4th edition, page 491, majority means full age, legal age, age at which a person is no longer a minor, the age at which, by law, a person is entitled to the management of his own affairs and to the enjoyment of civic rights, the opposite of minority. Also, the status of a person who is an adult in age. So it doesn't list a age as in 18 or 21. Do not add, in law, coming from the paralegal in me, in law, do not add what's not there. You can make assumptions, but take at face value what it's saying. So it's saying full age, doesn't list an age, full age, legal age, age at which a person is no longer a minor. It doesn't say 18, 16, 21. All right. So you want to legally join the age of majority. And when you authenticate your birth certificate and you attach, you include an affidavit with specific wording signaling that you are of the age of majority. You're able to handle your own affairs. You can speak on your own. You're not a minor. So that is a critical point when you authenticate. That is the next step. When you do that affidavit, do you just take it to a notary? That's fine. What I've done was take it to the highest authority in the state that I resided in, the state that the birth certificate was created in, the state of New York. And I took it to them and got them to authenticate it, which adds the weight to it other than just the notary. There are other things that I've added into my processes that really fortify who I am. When we were born, in a hospital, preferably, you do it at home, they really don't do it. When you were born in a hospital setting, part of the record in that birth certificate record has these documents, annexed to it. They'll give you a copy of the birth certificate for all the facts, but they won't give you the other documents that's included. Attached to that original birth is a copy of your footprint, your infant footprint, your minor footprint. As the years progress and we become young adults, we find ourselves in trouble with the law, or we want to go get our, what's it called when you clear, or it's the other privilege when you're flying. Can't remember, but you give them your fingerprint. So when you get arrested, they take your fingerprints. The fingerprints create a record for that artificial person. These fingerprints belong to that artificial person, and that's how they identify you. But there's a problem here, because that original individual that was born has documents or has a footprint that is not included with that fingerprint when you get arrested or you identify yourself for clear or pre-check. That's what it's called. What happened to that natural person? Because the artificial person, although it's a live man, the artificial person is being recognized through those fingerprints. How do you collapse the trust, as they would call it? The terminology is collapse the trust. How do you bring the two together? In my declaration of political status, it is a how many page document that I've created? 11 pages. On page 11 is my claim of life, stating that I am yet alive. I'm not dead at sea. I am not lost at sea. I am not what they determine you as. So they, the machine, list you as civilly dead, meaning you're a body with no thoughts. You're just a labor. You're a labor for them. You can't think for yourself. You have to be represented by attorneys. You can't speak for yourself. You're at their will. In my claim of life, I have my adult footprint, because no one other than me will have that footprint along with those fingerprints. So in the claim of life, it reads, this shows that the life estate of me, I'm not going to say the name, well, Robert Larry Marshall Jr., due and owing to the lawful heir, due and owing, it's in very it's in calligraphy. It's difficult to read, but I'm going to do my best here. That the beneficiary stands on the land jurisdiction of the United States. That the beneficiary is of age of majority. that the beneficiary is not an infant, nor a descendant, nor a corporation, that the beneficiary grants his name and estates to himself. Footprint, sign my name, beneficiary, first lien holder for Robert L. Marshall, my address. Footprint of Robert L. Larry Marshall Jr., born on the 2nd of March in the year of 1972, Brooklyn, New York, is taken on this state, blah, 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 all rights reserved. So no one is doing that. This is a jewel that I only expose because people ask the question. You ask me questions, I'll dig deep. Why are you exposing this publicly? Because I can. I know who I am. I know who I'm not. And I know what they cannot do to me. I have digital copies of such. I have multiple copies of such. If the house burns down, if they get a hold of this, and still can be pulled up. Still can't get rid of my footprint. So the footprint and the fingerprints match up to that of the birth. Claim of estate. It's in my declaration of political status document. What is my political status? Right. I hope I answered your question, Brother Pierre. Authentication of your birth certificate is critical. It's crucial. Brings you into the age of majority. A law, legally. There's a lot that can be done with that birth certificate. From if you are brought up on charges, you can use it to separate yourself from that artificial person. They can only bring charges on the artificial. You can't bring charges on the natural, because corporations deal with corporations, and you are being assumed and presumed to be that corporation. The natural man is a natural man. Now, how does that play in the federal courts, etc.? And on the private side, you can't injure. You're not supposed to injure, kill, or defraud. Those are the only three things in which you have to answer in a court of competent jurisdiction. As long as you don't injure anybody, kill nobody, or defraud anybody. Statutes, codes, and ordinances, jaywalking, unlawful disposal of a summons they hit me with one time, got dismissed, of course. All these things is, but you will have to answer if you injure somebody, if you kill somebody, or if you fraud somebody. Right? So I dropped the bomb. I know there's going to be a lot more questions. But that is the answer to the question thus far. I know there'll be more. I'm sitting waiting for them so I can respond. Peace, love, and light to everyone within the sound of my voice. And if this is the one video that goes viral, so be it. You heard it here. I showed you here. Tell me somebody else that's doing or have done what you saw just now. But Brownsville. Claim of life. Footprint. The original proof that you stepped foot on this earth. Done.